Hello everybody, and welcome to the sixth and final video for Cumulative Review Packet number 15. We'll be doing just number 45, which is a piecewise function. So piecewise means that only a chunk or a piece of each graph exists at certain locations. So x squared minus 4 only exists when x is greater than or equal to -1. So if we make a little xy table, and I write x squared minus 4 on top of that, it exists at -1 and then everything above. So maybe 0, 1, and 2, to get a good idea of what's happening. We would take all of these values and plug it into our function. So -1 squared minus 4 will be 1 minus 4, or -3. 0 squared minus 4 would be 0 minus 4, or -4. 1 squared minus 4 is 1 squared, 1 minus 4, which is -3 again. 2 squared minus 4 is 4 minus 4, or 0. So if I graph this first piece, because I have a greater than or equal to here, my dot is going to be solid. So this first one that I plot here is going to be a solid dot, or a filled in dot. So -1, -3 is down here. 0, -4, everything after that is still a filled in dot. 1, -3, and then 2, 0. So this parabola is from -1 all the way to infinity. So I'm going to continue my graph and go all the way up and over, to the right and up. My second table, x, y, has to do with the function 2x plus 3, which is going to be a line or linear because it's x to the first. It only exists when x is less than -1. Now we still put -1 in our first part in our table because we want a hole on the graph. But if we're below -1, we have -1, -2, -3, and -4 to start. If I plug these values into this function, we have 2 times -1 plus 3, which is -2 plus 3, or 1. 2 times -2 plus 3 is -4 plus 3, or -1. 2 times -3 plus 3 is -6 plus 3, or -3. Sorry about that. 2 times -4 plus 3 is -8 plus 3, or -5. So if I was graphing this line, I would start at -1 up 1, but because this is just less than, I'm going to have a hole or an open dot there. So -1 up 1 is a hole. Everything else beyond that is a filled in dot. -2, -1, -3, -3, -4, -5. So I draw from here down because my graph exists only to the left of -1. So this is a graph of my piecewise function. Now that I have that graph, I can answer the questions below. So if I would like to find f of 0, this is when the x value is 0 and we want to find our y values. So at 0, the graph of the y value is -4. And I also can see that from my table. F of -1, we have two possibilities. We have the filled in dot and the hole. The graph only exists here at the filled in dot, so the y value is -3. F of 4. It looks like 4 is going to be up here somewhere, but just to make sure, if I'm not sure what exactly f of 4 is, I look back at my intervals and I say that 4 is part of this interval here, which means I'd plug 4 into the function x squared minus 4, which would be 4 squared minus 4, 16 minus 4, or 12. So this answer would be 12. And then last but not least, if I want to find f of -3 plus f of 3, if I look at my graph, f of -3 is also -3 because that's my y value, plus f of 3 is, well, again, I don't know exactly what it is, but I can find it. I know that 3, just like 4, is part of this interval because it's bigger than -1. So if I plug 3 into x squared minus 4, I would get 3 squared, or 9, minus 4, which is 5. So my answer is -3 plus 5, or +2. Sorry about this being in the way here, but my final answers are -4, -3, 12, and +2. All right, guys, so that's it. This is the last question in your review packet. I hope these videos were helpful, and best of luck on your cumulative test number 15 and on the final exam. Thank you.